If I asked you what the highest rated game of 2023 was, what would you say? Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, Metroid Prime Remastered, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Tears of the Kingdom? All good guesses, but no. None of these are the highest rated games of the year by both users and critics whose opinions may or may not matter. The game that's taken the industry by storm is Baldur's Gate 3. Haven't heard of it? Well, it's a traditional Dungeons & Dragons style RPG made by an independent developer called Larian Studios. And yes, Larian is indie. The number of developers at a studio has nothing to do with the game's indie status when they're independently funded and published. Anyway, despite being a hardcore game in a niche genre from a franchise that's been dead since the start of the 21st century, Baldur's Gate 3 managed to hit over 800,000 concurrent players on Steam. This puts it in Steam's top 10 highest player counts of all time, along with games like CSGO, Elden Ring, and Cyberpunk at launch, because we didn't know yet. This is a significant moment for the gaming industry. Let's dive into why Baldur's Gate 3 is so successful and what it means for the future of gaming. Baldur's Gate 3 isn't Larian Studios' first rodeo with this kind of game. They've created two extremely high-quality, mechanically deep CRPGs before, the Divinity Original Sin games. Divinity Original Sin 2 sold very well, which helped to fund initial development of Baldur's Gate 3. Then in 2020, after 3 years of development, BG3 launched into early access on Steam, which both helped fund the developer's ambitions and allowed for real-world criticism. For the last 3 years, players have been playing through early parts of the game while providing the devs with invaluable feedback about the direction they'd like to see the game go. So you take a studio of highly experienced devs, single-mindedly focused on creating an extremely specific type of game, give them ample funding, a 6-year dev cycle where there isn't some greedy publisher breathing down the backs of their necks forcing them to put the game out on a hard deadline, send them years worth of continuous player feedback on changes they make during development, and what do you get? You get a feature-rich, complete game that's so mechanically deep it might accidentally awaken an ancient evil slumbering at the foundations of the world. You get a game designed without compromise for its core audience that's so good it attracts a new one. And you get a game that utterly embarrasses AAA studios to the point where their only response is to attack it because they knew they couldn't make it even with $1 billion and a magic genie. I think Baldur's Gate 3 can and should have a profound impact on the industry. It's not fair to compare the work of this 400-person development team to that of a 10-person indie garage developer, but it is absolutely fair to stack BG3 up to the work that massive AAA companies do. 400 at Larian? Try 20,000 at Ubisoft. According to one source, the last time Larian had a round of crowdfunding back in 2019, they raised $1.85 million. In 2020, the Pokemon Company made over $1 billion in revenue. So why shouldn't we let Baldur's Gate 3 set the new bar for quality? Tell me why any self-respecting person that isn't a shareholder of a AAA company would want to lower their quality standards for games made by hundreds if not thousands of developers backed by hundreds of millions of dollars and the marketing department of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. In the end, we're just consumers making a transaction with the company. Imagine if you were hungry and went to McDonald's, gave them $5 for some chicken nugs, and they gave you a bag of frozen McNuggets and instructions on how to cook them. I paid you with the understanding that you would give me fully cooked chicken nuggets I could eat right now, not something that has the potential to be fully cooked in the future. Or what if you paid for a 20-piece meal and there were only 10 in the box? You'd probably bring your receipt up to the counter and ask them where the rest are. Our deepest apologies. We are committed to sending you one nugget at a time over an unspecified period that may take months or even years. Yeah, can I just get a refund? No. And we might just stop at some point and not get you all 20. Have a nice day. And then you walk out to Mickey D's and there are people shouting about how you shouldn't expect them to deliver 20 nuggets every time. How can you expect them to do that? That's a lot of nuggets for McDonald's. And you know what? That's cool with me. But don't charge me for 20 nuggets when in your infinite incompetency you can only make 10. I'm not talking about individual developers, it's not their fault. I'm talking about the higher-ups at the AAA companies that couldn't find an ounce of integrity if it smacked them over the head and ran them over in the VIP verified idiot parking section of the parking lot. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying every game needs to be a hardcore CRPG with so much depth you could teach a university course on it. But I am saying that if I'm paying $60 for a game that has 172 hours of cutscenes and a script that's over 2 million words long, which is almost twice as long as the entire Harry Potter series, I better not be asked to pay $70 for a broken, joy-forsaken digital wasteland that may or may not rhyme with the words Dead Mall. And I don't mean a longer game is better value. A 10-hour masterpiece will always be better than a 50-hour bloated experience. It's about the quality. Larian Studios has proven you can deliver a high-quality, visually beautiful game without forsaking the gameplay and other things that actually matter in this interactive medium. And they're not alone. Sony frequently delivers high-quality products. Nintendo just put out Tears of the Kingdom. Capcom is on a roll. Square Enix has Tifa. I mean, there are some great AAA games out there right now. If we hold these companies accountable by not tolerating their utter tomfoolery, then we can create a gaming industry where they race for the top rather than one where they simply try not to clog the drain on the way out.